everyone. My name is Omon and you're watching Omon's Couch. Please keep watching. Welcome to Omon's Couch. Our guest on this couch today wears many hats. She's an entrepreneur, philanthropist, publisher, author, and mindset stylist. She's the convener of ELOY Awards, an award that has celebrated achievements of women for 15 years. She's also the founder of Exquisite Magazine, a fashion, wellness, and lifestyle magazine for the unlimited woman. She's none other than the delectable Tewa Onasanya. Tewa.
Hi.
Wow, I'm so happy to have you on my couch today. I'm so happy you're able to make it.
It's an honor to be here. Finally, on my couch.
We thank God. So, Tewa, I've known you for about 15 years and people may not know.
Yes, interestingly
we met 15 years at the launch or your maiden edition of your
the
ELOY Awards.
Yes.
And something very interesting happened at that award. You actually picked me out.
Yes.
I didn't know you. I was just a guest to actually give out an award to some recipient.
Yes.
Interesting. And 15 years down the line, we are here today
on
Omon's Couch celebrating your journey.
Oh, thank
you. Well done. I would like to know, you're going to be celebrating your 15-year anniversary by November, am I correct?
For the ELOYs.
For the ELOY Awards. So take us through your entrepreneurship journey. I'm sure a lot of our viewers will want to know how you started, how it has been, and what you have done with the business.
Yes. I mean, I'm excited to talk about what I do. I mean, it's been a whirlwind kind of journey, so to speak. I mean, ELOY's is in its 15th year, but the magazine is 20 years actually. In September, to God's glory. I didn't always wanted to do business, funny enough. And a lot of people might be shocked if you haven't read my bio. I'm a pharmacologist. Actually.
Pharmacologist, wow.
Yes, I'm a pharmacologist that just, turned into who I am today. So I studied pharmacology because I actually wanted to be a doctor. But my A-level grades, thought better or thought otherwise, so to speak.
You're built for the media, not a doctor.
To be a medical doctor, So I wanted to be a doctor. That's why I went into pharmacology, because I didn't get the grades, and then started pharmacology. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for years, I think close to 10 years.
Wow.
And then in 2003, whilst I was still working, I used to live in England. Well, I still kind of live in England, and the area we were in Essex didn't have many magazines for Black people. And trust me, these exact words were the words that came to my mind as I was driving home. It was like, instead of complaining about it, do something about it. And that's how Exquisite Magazine started. Luckily, I had a friend, well, still do, I have a friend whose husband is a graphic artist, knows about, putting a magazine together. And, I got home excited. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to start a magazine. I love fashion anyway. I love the lifestyle things. It's a no-brainer, and I loved writing. I've been writing since I was like 8. Reading and writing. I loved doing content. That. I've been since I was 8. So it was like, oh, you love doing all of these things. Why not do it? And that's how the magazine started.
So you mean you started the magazine just from a whim?
Just from a whim, just from going to the supermarket and like, where is the... So then there were only 2 magazines for Black people then. And even then, I didn't see those magazines where I lived. And I was just like, God have mercy, why are they? And I was just like, you know what? Instead of complaining about it, do something about it. And
so you're kind of solving a problem.
Solving a challenge. Solving
that you actually felt that there was a need for.
Exactly.
For there to be a magazine in the country. For people of color.
For people of color. And here we are today. So obviously, and this is what I always say to people, and I talk about it now because obviously I've grown in the business and I've grown in my years as well, that what you start with might not necessarily be what you just end up doing. It evolves because we're human beings. We're always evolving. So the magazine started. We started coming to Nigeria. The Nigerian market was very welcoming. So we're like, okay, then, you know, we found out that a lot of Nigerians in Nigeria wanted to know what was happening in Nigeria as opposed to the information we were bringing from outside. And a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora wanted to know what was happening here in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we now swapped the content round so that our content was more Nigerian that could fit both markets.
Exactly. So there was a need in the US,
in the UK,
as well as in
Nigeria. Yes. So that was how that started.
But it could not have been easy.
No, of course. I have a science background. No knowledge about business, no knowledge about media. I mean, what was I even thinking of? But I had one thing going that I still have now. I strongly believed I could do it. And I just went for it. You know what they say about when you've made a decision to do something, all the things you need will start coming into place. I didn't know the first thing about starting a magazine. But guess what? I went into a bookstore and I saw a book that I still have till today titled How to Start a Magazine.
Are you serious?
I kid
for
you
dummies.
not.
Are you sure it's not for dummies?
It didn't say for dummies at the time. No, it didn't say for dummies. And I was just like, oh my God. Picked that up, highlighted, read it from cover to cover, was going back to it.
Was that insightful? Did it give you a lot of information?
Extremely insightful.
Are you serious?
Yes, you know, all the things that I didn't know about. So basically, I learned on the job. I didn't go to the School of Journalism until later. I didn't do anything in media. I'm a science student.
You feel like a science student.
I know, right? That was good in terms of, you know, all the resources now coming into play. Plus, you know, I had to now find people who loved writing because I couldn't write a whole magazine by myself. And then got photographers to do the photo shoot. But one thing that I did have in mind, which still continues up until today, is the fact that we want the magazine to be able to feed a need for people that wants to be inspired, people that wants to, you know, get to the next level. I've always wanted to be inspiring to people.
Okay.
And that's what the magazine was, you know, was all about and still is. And all the other things I'm doing are still in that line as well, even though I've veered into different
parts
avenues.
Of media.
Yes.
Interesting to hear.
Yes.
We are very happy to hear all that. I'm sure, viewers, you're hearing her story. There's something she has said. So sometimes it's not all about a planned journey when you go into entrepreneurship.
Not always.
It can also be a situation whereby you actually think of something, you see a need, and you try to plug that need.
Yeah.
And she will run with it.
Yes.
Fearlessly. Yeah. Not knowing whether they're going to be stumbling blocks, not knowing even how to do it. But there's also something that people need to learn. It's not about formal education in any space that you're going to. You can actually go and learn by yourself. Yes. There are so many resources.
Learn from others
then there were resources. Now it's even far more than you can even imagine. The internet is there for so many things you want to learn. So you can have a thought, have an idea, have the passion to go for it, be fearless, and do it afraid. As long as you do it, and you go on with it, and you will meet some stumbling blocks. And let me not talk too much. Let me get Tewa to tell us her journey as to how difficult was this. What were the challenges you were seeing?
Wow. Like I said earlier, it's not a walk in the park. It's been a roller coaster journey. But with every wave, you know, there's a learning experience. I mean, I have so many stories I can share.
Just share one. You can just share one.
One particular one, in fact, two sticks out.
Okay.
So one is with the magazine and another one is with the ELOY Awards. So with the magazine, you know, I said that when I started, I was all excited about it, didn't think about the business side of things and blah, blah, blah. Eventually, I think maybe when the magazine was like maybe 6 or 7 years old, we still were not making money and we still needed to print. Yeah, I was taking from my husband, I was taking from whatever was left with me. And so there was a particular year, I think it was 2006, we couldn't print a copy.
Wow.
We couldn't print a copy of Exquisite. It was unbelievable. I remember this day, I literally went to my balcony and sat on the floor and I was just like, God have mercy.
Wow.
What is this?
And so if you can't print, then you have no magazine.
If we can't, we have no magazine. And guess what? Some people had already even paid for, for an ad that's meant to come out in the new one, but it wasn't happening. So it was a case of, okay, am I going to now stop doing this? I was like, you know that moment where you cry your heart out to God. I had to do that. And eventually something did happen, but that year we didn't print a copy.
Wow.
It had to be the following year because we couldn't do it. We just couldn't do it. And everybody I was speaking to, when you're seeking, help and then trying to get people to advertise in advance, it was difficult. So we didn't print that year. I think maybe if we printed, it would have been towards the end of the year. Another story that sticks out, and
Wow.
all about challenges. And this is what I always say to people that, no matter how somebody looks on the outside, find out what they're going through on the inside. There was a particular year at the ELOYs. I can't remember what year it was. Maybe it was 2017 or something. We almost did not do one. It was unbelievable. This in 2017, this must have been a few years into the ELOYs. You would not believe that a few years into the ELOYs, we still struggled with getting the sponsors or getting people to, and this is the
bedrock
of what we do.
The money.
And I say this with so much confidence. This is the only most consistent award ceremony in Nigeria for women. The only one. Since 2009. Hey. Yes, thank you very much.
Let's celebrate her.
Thank you. Since 2009, this particular year, we were at the venue a day before the event. And guess what? This venue that we've been using for years said to me that, Tewa, we can't hold this event tomorrow if you don't pay the balance. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you can't. And I was sitting there trying to negotiate and speak to them. You know me, we've been doing this for years. And they're like, they had no management. They were like, sorry, you can't. Guess what? Our media people were waiting outside to start setting up the stage. This event is tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Wow.
You know what I eventually did? I went into the bathroom. I went into the bathroom of the hotel. I put till today I still ask myself, you had the thought to put tissue on the floor.
You put tissue paper on the floor?
I put tissue paper on the floor and I knelt
so
down.
So you're still thinking of cleanliness?
Can you imagine?
when you had a lot of big issues
to deal with.
Wow.
I put tissue on the floor and I knelt and I was just like, and I said to God, I was like, you put a vision in my mind, and this is something I strongly believe till today. Any idea, any dream you have is God's words for you, and it can't return to him void, and it has to come to life. So I was saying to myself in that bathroom, I was like, you gave me this vision. Why is it such a struggle, for crying out loud? Why is it? And I said to myself, it's either we call a press conference and say tomorrow is cancelled.
Wow.
Exactly. Or a miracle just happens. So I just, dried my tears, got up, went to sit in the lobby area because I refused to leave the hotel that day, just in case anything happened. So I just sat there and I was thinking, people have been voting, people are excited, people look forward to the ELOYs every single year. And then something just occurred to me. You have a credit card.
You had to use your credit card.
I called people that I know, and I know people. Nobody could help me. So it's a case of God wanting to take the glory, so to speak. People could not help me. People that, they couldn't help me. So I remember the credit card. I had to call one of my sisters who luckily was in my house because it's my UK credit card. I didn't have it on me. So I had to call her to say, go to my house. No, come to the Intercontinental, come to the hotel, come and take my room key, then go to my house and get the card, then come back. Wow. And that was how we paid for the venue. Even when they were trying to do
it actually worked. Your credit card worked in Nigeria.
Right? When they were trying to do the, when they were trying to do the payment, I hadn't even put my PIN. I was like, did it not work?
Wow.
The anxiety of it. And guess what? We made the payment. They let everybody through. The following day, this event was one of our biggest. There were so many people. Wow. When they called me on stage to give my speech, I couldn't hold it in. I cried. I was just like,
But
and
people
everybody
wouldn't
was
even
staring
know
at me exactly
why you were
why I
crying
was
that
crying.
much.
I was just like, God have mercy. And then people that got the awards on the day, a lady was like, oh, she wanted to give up on her business. Then she got a nomination and she was, excited that, oh, okay, so people are seeing me. Another lady said she wanted to commit suicide because her business wasn't working and she felt like she wasn't being seen. And then she got a call that she was nominated for the ELOY. I was just sitting there doing
Like,
this to God.
The reason why
this
God
was meant to be my last one. But you want me to continue this?
Yes.
Because why are all these people coming up to say that? Testimonies. It was unbelievable. But one thing I realized from my journey is the stories are there to propel me to keep doing and also inspire other people.
To continue
so yes, we will
journey.
face the challenges, but it's how you now work with it and how you
walk
rise.
around it and rise from it. You have done tremendously well.
Thank you.
I mean, being an entrepreneur, I know what it is to be in that space. The anxiety, the fear of losing, of
pressure,
the embarrassment. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've all heard from Tewa. It happens to everyone.
Yes.
But it's how you deal with it.
How you deal with it.
And how you treat it. And how you overcome it that makes the difference. She's here. 15 years, that was 7 years more, and she's here, still telling her story, still impacting lives, still touching a lot of people. So we can do it. We can do it. We just have to do it fearlessly. And ultimately, God on our side, all things are possible. So thank you so much, Tewa, for this. Thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you another question.
Yes.
You've been doing this, and you've talked about how you started, you've talked about your struggle, you've talked about how you grew the business, you talked about how you've been able to sustain it now. And I think there's something that I see that resonates with everything. You've been doing it with the Almighty God as the center of what you've been doing. You've also done it fearlessly. You've also done it with the feeling that you have something to give. And to impact lives, impact women, impact everybody, because the information and the content is for everybody.
Yeah.
And this has actually propelled you and kept you going. And obviously there's a passion behind it. Because I always say without passion, you can't, even the bad days, you cannot, there's nothing that can keep you going. So with all these things, you've been able to get to this point. So now, there's no way you'll not have had issues with balancing your life. I'm talking now about your work-life balance.
Work-life balance.
How have you been able to balance the children? I know you have 2 young adults. How have you been able to cope with the children and also with your husband, the family, everything?
So, a lot of people talk about balance, but I always say that, really and truly, there is no balance. Because really and truly, at one point, something will suffer for the other. But it's just how well you're able to deal with it and how you're able to be intentional about how you spend your time. Intentional about your work time, intentional about your children time, intentional about your husband time, intentional about, every other thing, your youth time as well. So, I would say the best thing I've been able to do is just being intentional about how I spend my time and what I do within that time. And which is important at which time. So it's very, very important for us to know what's important at what time. Definitely when the children were younger, some things did suffer in terms of my work, but then again, there had to be, a little bit give and take. And the good thing is when an era where, if you can't do something, you look for somebody that can help you, support you. So when it was time for childcare, I looked for somebody that could help me do that, or my sisters were able to help me do that, or the husband takes the forth, when I'm away, when I have to be away. Because when we started the magazine, we had to be away on, different business trips, especially when we were reviewing travel destinations or I had to travel. So it's just being able to know what's important at what time. And then being able to, have an understanding partner as well. I am not saying I am perfect. I am not saying we did not have our problems.
I can imagine,
because we did.
I'm sure he would have said,
my God,
why are you investing so
why
much
are you doing
money
this?
And it's not giving you any
it's not giving
return.
you any feedback. Any return. So I'm not saying it was perfect all through. I mean, I've been married for 21 years in September. So it's not like it was all rosy and everything was, nice. But it's just that at this point, I know what's important and I'm able to do it. At that point, I know what is important and I'm able to do it. Yes, there were hiccups. Yes, there were times where I really wanted to be with my children, but I couldn't because I had to, do work, or wanted to do some work, but I couldn't. But it's just all about looking for a way to be intentional about your choices and looking for support as well.
Much as possible.
As much as
we
possible.
Can do it all.
Because we can't do it all by ourselves.
We need support.
No, we need that support.
And for us to be able to ask people to
help. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Definitely very important. So,
that.
I've been able to juggle all the balls. Thank God, they're still up in the air.
Yeah.
Sometimes I drop them, pick them up again, and then we continue juggling.
Yes, that's the life of a woman.
Yes.
That's the life of a woman.
Yes.
We'll continue to be strong and continue to be fearless and continue to be limitless.
Yes, limitless.
In all that we do.
And we have to also remember that it gets to a point when it now becomes easier.
Yes.
My children are older now, so I can do more. But the thing is, one thing I don't regret is the choices I have made, because one way or the other it's built them as well. So my daughter knows that there's they've been watching. So my daughter knows that there are certain times in her life that something has to be more important than another, and she's able to work with that. And my son as well. So I say this because during some decisions that I've made, years ago, my mother would be like, "Oh, I didn't do this to you. Or, I didn't."
Are you serious?
And I'm just like,
Your mom was blackmailing you?
Of course.
Are you joking?
Like your children, I didn't. And you think to yourself that, okay, what exactly am I meant to do at this point? But with God on your side, with the right people by your side, we will move past it.
Wow, interesting. You're an embodiment of a full woman.
Thank you,
so
Lord.
It's not just one aspect of your life. You have lived through everything. Tewa, you are known as a mindset stylist. How did you come about it?
I love that question. It's a great conversation starter anywhere I go. So, a mindset stylist is essentially a mindset coach, but I don't like the word coach. So I decided to because I feel
common?
like it's overused.
I think so.
I think everybody's a coach. This coach, that. So I feel like it's overused. And then another reason why I call myself a mindset stylist is when you leave me, I want you to always remember that just like you pick and choose your clothes to match your shoes, to match your earrings, to match your tie or wristwatch for a man, you're supposed to pick and choose your thoughts. So you pick and choose your clothes to look good. You're supposed to pick and choose your thoughts to feel good. Because when you feel good is when you can, be in a great space to make a decision on your goals and be able to attract your goals to yourself and attract whatever it is you desire into your life. So that's what that is about.
An idea of what the mindset stylist does. I know there are some things about affirmations.
Yes, big on affirmations.
So give us an example of
So what I do is basically help you harness the power that you already have. We all have these superpowers that we believe has, one way or the other, life has taught us to think that we're not enough, we're not good enough, we're not this enough, we're not tall, sure, we're not, we're always thinking we're not enough and the next person is better than us or bigger than us. But the mindset stylist, what I do with my clients is I help them realize that the way you are enough and even more. And you can be and do whatever it is you desire. All you need to do is renew your mind. And I help people,
it's all about possibilities.
It's all about, limitless possibilities. You can have anything. When I say to people, you can have anything you dream of, people look at me as, so if I want a Porsche, I can get it. I'm like, actually,
you can.
If you want to, all you need to do is make sure that you believe in yourself. Because God said, and I go reference to God because I'm, from a Christian perspective and a Christian background, because God said that whatever it is you want, it is given. We just have to remember that children, when they want something, they don't come to you begging. They come to you like, they know you're going to give them. That's exactly how our relationship is supposed to be with God. Whatever we want, we ask for it, believing that we've received it, and just allow it to come at its appointed time.
Wow.
So basically, I help people, utilize their own given power. And also, I use the word conquer the limiting beliefs that has been holding everybody back from achieving whatever it is they want to achieve.
Interesting, very interesting. I love it. I like it because I'm a person who believes in possibilities.
Yes.
I mean, everything is possible. I'd never like to hear, oh, I can't do
I
this
can't do it.
because this. No excuses. Everything is possible.
Yes.
Just work towards it.
Just work
Find
towards
a
it.
solution.
Believe you can.
Just go, whatever it is. There will
Yeah.
always be, every problem has a solution.
As a solution, yeah.
Every.
And I always say this to people as well. When a problem comes, a solution also comes. But the thing is, we see the solution later or not as quickly enough because we're focusing on the problem. We're thinking the problem. We forget that whatever we focus on grows. But if we think of if we think, okay, yeah, this is the problem, let's find a solution. Because when a problem appears, a solution comes with it.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Tewa.
Thank you for
I've enjoyed
having me.
having you on this show. I've enjoyed having you on Almost Couch.
Yes.
And I'm sure we'll look forward to having you back again
I'm
sometime
looking
in the
forward
future.
to it.
And thank you so much.
Thank
I hope
you.
viewers, you've heard from the media expert herself, who has started her journey from a passion, from seeing a need, capitalizing on that need. But there was something she did which many entrepreneurs, like even myself, also had from the beginning, whereby you never really look at the business side, you just want to solve a problem. Then later on, you find out that, oh, for me to be able to sustain this dream, I actually have to look at the business side. And she had to look at the business side, pay attention to it, find out strategies for her to be able to push out her trade into the market and get paid for it. Because one thing is to have a passion, to solve a problem, and there's another thing to be able to have a plan to sustain that, solving that problem. And if you don't have, then there's no relevance for you to actually be in business. So she's been able to conquer that. She's had her difficult times. She's had moments where she thought she would never continue with the business. But here she is today, celebrating 20 years in September for her magazine and 15 years for her ELOY Awards. And I'm hoping to be there.
Yes,
well
yes,
done,
yes,
well
yes.
done.
You
I
have to
started
be there.
in the
You
maiden
started,
edition,
yes.
and I will
I
will definitely be part of the 15th year anniversary. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Remain blessed.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode of Almost Couch. If you would like to see more inspiring content like this, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. The handle is Omon Odike. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Omon Odike.